Metafix is a show that teaches you how to think in the metagame. I am not here to give you the answers, nor am I going to tell you how to win. Metafix teaches you how to play in the metagame and how to react around the metagame and what is in the metagame. If you're looking for the answers, try HC Realms, check the forums, they have all kinds of neat toys and tools and teams being brought up, and check the results of a lot of the ROC tournaments or any Worlds tournaments to see how teams played out and what teams were used for. I'm just here to help you think.
It's getting towards the end of the second month of the Age of Ultron, so now is probably a good time to talk about how Age of Ultron is going to affect the constructed game. And there are a couple figures that are actually coming out of Wave 1. The thing about Wave 1 is Wave 1 had a lot more in the way of support characters. A lot of the characters aren't as super offensive as we're looking to see in Wave 2. I mean, for instance, in Wave 2, we've already seen an Ultron with 6-7 Clix, all with running shot, pulse wave in some manner, in some form. So we already know that there's a ton more offense going into the second wave of Age of Ultron. The first wave is not without its strengths, and one of them, of course, being very support, very helpful characters. And who better to exemplify that than Monica Chang? Now, Monica Chang comes with the an ability that gives her, I believe it was Perplex and Enhancement, which is really awesome when you think about the fact that Perplex can target any power. Enhancement gives you +1 damage when making a range attack, which is, if you get into the competitive game, pretty much where most of the attacking happens. As well, she has a shield team ability, which gives her the option to take a power action in order to either to give damage, or she can take a free action to increase range. So she's got the potential, if you're comfortable with the attack value on your character, to give +3 damage in just a 65-point character beside that character. She also comes with some Psychic Blast and some Stealth. So she's an alright character. She's shield as far as keywords are concerned, and soldier. So in a nutshell, I'd say Monica Chang, once going into thinking in the future with Nick Fury and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. coming out, we have already... Avengers comes with a lot of shield keyword. S.H.I.E.L.D. comes with a lot of shield keyword, so expect her to work in conjunction with a lot of what's coming in Nick Fury and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Of course, obviously, let's talk about Jocasta. She's the only entity / possessor coming out of this set, per se. I'm just shaking her in front of you. Specific to robots. Now, robots are definitely making their names known in the metagame right now. You have Ragnarok out there. You have Spiral out there. You have a ton of Ultrons out there. And you have Justin Seyfert. With all these robots, and if you're willing to give up the keyword advantage, Justin Seyfert will say, well, guess what? This robot's going to move, attack, and then attack again. Deal with it. So, that's a figure that's definitely making this set stand out. Now, I don't have any of the chases myself, but the Ultrons in general, any character named Ultron is going to make some noise for one big reason. Ultron is better at being an Avenger than Avengers are being at being Avengers. Allow me to explain. The Ultron drones, when played at the 30-point value, still count as the highest possible point value on their dial. So whether it's a 120-point / 30-point drone, or a 60-point / 30-point drone, they count as the highest value. So either 60 or 120-point drones are on the board, even though you only paid 30 for them. What that means is when you're using ID cards, that's the point value that they're going to count as well as things like leadership. That's the point value they count at. Now, that could become a bad thing if you think about it, because, you paid 30 points for these guys, but do you have a leadership user who's of a higher leadership? But then, of course, the Ultron 7 gets around that by having leadership that's amazing. So, it's kind of that catch-20. So yeah, anything with the word Ultron in its name from this set is a force to be reckoned with, especially when used in conjunction with ID cards. If you don't believe me, see what Paris Gordon ran in the state tournament. I believe it was Texas that he ran a team with 2 Rocket Raccoons, 2 Phalanx Ultrons, a Jarvis, I believe it was a power plant, and a stack of ID cards. Ultron is better at all ID cards than a lot of characters who can use ID cards already are. And we can't go without a strong mention of the super rare Goliath. Now, it's not his 140 point value. That is a good value. It was great in sealed. It's not his 100 point value. A good value. Probably okay in sealed if you have the morph to work with. Let's talk about that 50 point value that on the second click happens to come with defend and a shared energy shield. That's something else, to say the least. Because one of the coolest things is having an 18 defense and then giving your friendly characters energy shield. It's cool. That's a 20 defense at range, which is what you're keeping them at. Now, there's a downside to that character, of course, and it's the fact that he is a giant. That said, when you're getting into combat, it might be useful to possibly put him in a position where he might be a tertiary attacker, where he can take that free action, become a colossal, attack from 3 squares away, but he only has 2 damage on that click, so you got to be careful about that. Overall, the Goliath, there's a lot of supporty stuff in this set, but the set was really, this portion of the set really worked amongst itself. The Hank Pym was cool, but is really kind of a counter pick to if you're expecting a lot of Ultrons. The Hulk was neat, and the Iron Man were neat as ideas and potential characters to bring into the game, though I would personally suggest the Fast Forces over them. Now, what ends up happening is some of the characters end up actually being not so good on paper, but pretty amazing when you include their ID cards. A strong example of that is Machine Man. Machine Man is, for all intents and purposes, a very terrible character as far as everything that's on his dial. He's mediocre at best, if I was to say anything. But his ID card character, or his ID ability on a round table could come in handy very easily, where he stops opposing outwit. That's awesome. Jocasta is a very cool character that gives willpower, and opposing characters can't ignore pushing damage. Protector gives offensive probability control. Wasps gives increased defense. The Hulk and the Iron Man, of course, are the standouts. If you watch the Meta Lab, you know I've talked about these guys. The ones that they are giving away are free and unbelievably awesome in all cases. Iron Man and Hulk stand out as Hulk will bring the brawl. Iron Man will bring the hurt from a distance. So the heck with your stealth. Some honorable mentions, and might work for some teams. Vision is worth a mention because of the potency of the Ultron drones. Heroclix is worth a mention because never neglect a character with stats like that and the Heroes for Hire team ability. More or less look to his 130 point value over his 220 point value if you're going to be looking at him. Protector is worth a mention because of his animal keyword. I believe that's all I can really point out for that. So Wave 1 was interesting. The super rares and constructed don't stand out as strong. Black Panther's alright, but I don't think he's going to be making as big a splash as he possibly could. Quasar's cool, but not cool enough. If somebody you can probably make use of him as 125 point value. But the big point value is not as overall useful because you're spending 225 points in a 300 point metagame, right? 125 point value, you might be able to get some work out of him, especially with Running Shot, Pulse Wave, 3 damage, and Energy Shield, and Invulnerable as part of the same power with the Power Cosmic. The Phalanx Ultron stands out as amazing. I don't have one, so I can't be flashing them at you. As far as the prize figures are concerned, Grandmaster, I feel like was somebody looking to find a fun character. He's a very risky play in the 300 point metagame. Graviton, on the other hand, playable, but you do have to build a team around him, and at 225 points, you've already used up more than half of your available usefulness, so you're playing a gamble. Now, that's not to say that his cool telekinesis and his cool incapacitate isn't great. They're good useful powers with a 9 range triple target and indomitable. But at paying 225 points, I expect that, right? Yeah, so in a nutshell, Age of Ultron Wave 1 is going to be more supporty, more to bring up characters that are possibly coming out in Age of Ultron Wave 2. When Wave 2 is out, I'm looking forward to seeing what that brings, but it seems to be bringing the hurt. We're going to see more of the things that you're going to be building armies around in that wave, and we're really looking forward to it. So, until next time, guys, don't forget, practice makes your team better.
The opinions and thoughts brought to you in Metafix are not meant for the casual game at the table. Married with Clix is brought to you by Majestic's Heroclix sales down in Costa Mesa, California. Right now, they're in the middle of storefront change. In the meantime, don't forget to check out their eBay store. If you check the link down below, they always have great Heroclix stuff at fantastic prices, and they'll ship just about anywhere.